We're all remote this week on Inside EKU Sports because of the weather, and glad you've joined us. As we begin with golf. Yes, they are golfing already, and Billy Basham joins us, a senior from Louisville. Billy, you had a fourth place finish down in the tournament to open the season in Louisiana. Coming out of a winter where you can't play outside a lot, how did you feel you played, and how did the team play?
Well, I felt that I played pretty solid. It was really windy, and even in Louisiana, it felt about 32 degrees, and the winds were about 20, 25 miles an hour. So it was very tough, but we've all put in a lot of work in the fall, even when we didn't have a scheduled season. So we all trusted in our practice ability and how we prepared for that tournament.
Last year, your stroke average tied third best all time at EKU at 72.1. That was about a stroke and a half better than your previous year. Do you sense that your game as you get older in college is progressing as well?
Absolutely. One thing that I focused hard on is my mental game of the whole game. And I feel like over the past year and a half, I've really made a big jump in my mental aspect of like my approach towards the game.
You played in high school and won 2 state championships. And in college, as well as high school, this can be a team sport. So how do you translate what happened in high school to this team sport at Eastern Kentucky?
Just bringing my winning attitude, really. At St. X, I mean, we won back-to-back state tournaments. I mean, we won by 37 our last year. So just going into college, just having that winning mentality, I think really helped out our team.
And you come from an athletic family. Your dad played golf at Western Kentucky. Your mom played basketball at U of L. So they know what you're going through.
Absolutely. It's good to have them as like a good support system to fall back on because they've been in my shoes and they know what they've already done it. So it's good to pick their brains about like certain situations and stuff like that.
Who's the best golfer in the family?
Absolutely me.
When did you first beat your dad?
It took me a while. I was probably a junior in high school before I beat him. He would never let me beat him. He would always pull something out of his butt and then he'd birdie the last 2 holes or something.
Put the pressure on you. See, that's that mental game, right?
Absolutely. He would always try to do like weird mental games with me, like talking my backswing or like kind of just throw me off my game just to prepare me for college.
The part of the game that you think you have to work on the most beyond the mental game, whether it's driving the ball, fairway, putting, chipping, where do you think you have to get better?
I would say my short game probably. I missed a good amount of putts inside of like 15 feet that the tour percentage is pretty solid, but I feel like I could really improve from that aspect of my game. I think that'll take my game to the next level.
So I look at the team. There are 5 Kentuckians on the team. There's 1 from Iowa. Then we have 2 Swedes and 1 from Spain. Of this roster, 6 are freshmen. So you being an upperclassman, you can kind of be a mentor to the younger guys as well. Plus, we have that good mix of different cultures as well.
Yes, absolutely. I think me being a fifth-year senior, I can really shed some light on the experiences that I've been throughout my 5 years here and kind of help the freshmen get into like the flow of things with a weird start to their freshman year with COVID.
Your next tournament is March 4th and the 6th at the Sea Palms Invitational. That's down at St. Simon's Island. And anybody who knows golf, that's one of the iconic areas for golf. You have to be excited to be playing down there.
Oh, yes, we're all very excited. It's going to be a great tournament, and hopefully the weather holds out for us. It's a little better than here, but we're all very excited.
You just go indoors and work when the weather's like this?
Yes, sir. Our facility at Arlington, we have 3 bays that we can hit out of with heaters, and then we have an inside putting facility.
I always have to end up with this. Have you ever had a hole in one?
I have. I've had 2.
Awesome. Tell me about them real quick.
My first one was actually when I was a freshman here. It was in qualifying. It was on our 8th hole of the qualifier. And then my second one was on 16 at Arlington. I was out there practicing in the morning, and I went out and played a few holes, and my first shot, I made it.
All right. Well, let's get another one or two before the season's over. And I
Yes,
know
sir.
the OVC's coming up before it's over down in Alabama. And I know you're pointing towards that as a team and as an individual, obviously.
Absolutely. The OVC championship is obviously our main goal, but we don't want to look too far ahead. We want to look at the tournament that's coming up and prepare for that as best as we can.
All right. Thanks, Billy, for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Billy Basham, golfer at Eastern Kentucky, a senior, leading the way. And when we come back here on Inside EKU Sports, back to the diamond we go to talk softball with Jane Worthington.
Hey, that comes to $1.45.
I'm sorry?
Oh yeah, for the cookie. The books are free.
For everybody?
For all undergraduate students. We call it EKU Book Smart.
Let's make that 2 cookies.
On campus, online, delivery, or pickup at EKU. The books are on us.
The EKU softball team began last season 22-2 before it was abruptly halted. And now they've started with a game that was quickly arranged in Knoxville, Tennessee this past weekend. Jane Worthington joins us. 2 losses against a nationally ranked team, but from game 1 to game 2, your team showed improvement as we get this season underway, Coach.
Yeah, sure. We were just excited, honestly, to be able to throw something together at the last minute. Being rained out at Mercer where we were scheduled, we were excited to go down and play Tennessee. And like I was saying earlier, we didn't have much time to prepare for their hitters. But once we were able to see them, and it's a very, very good Tennessee team, we were able to call a little bit better game and put our pitchers in a better position to do to perform well.
Carly Robinson had a 2-run homer in that second game to get you out to a 2-0 start.
Yeah, she did. And, Carly's capable of that, as well as, quite a few of our hitters. I think we're going to score some runs. It's just we got to get the bat on the ball, and we've got to see some live pitching other than our own.
Because of all the bad weather, and we're in winter still, whether it's snowy and icy or just a normal day. So I know you can work inside, but how much outside work have you been able to get in January and February?
Well, I want to say we've had maybe 10 days on the turf. We've had 0 days on our own field. Found some dirt 2 days. So not a lot. We haven't had a chance to really work our infield and outfield together. But you know what? There's a lot of teams in the same situation. We're just ready to get out there and play whoever we see, because I think we're going to have to be super flexible this year and just respond and play our game.
The good news is you return all 9 starters, 17 of 18 players who play. Your pitching staff is back for the most part. So you have depth, kind of like the EKU men's basketball team. You can rely on depth when things get a little thin.
Sure. And we do. We have quality 13, 15, clear up to, we have 24 on our team this year. So, yeah, we're going to be able to throw in some pinch runners, throw in some pinch hitters, which is something that we haven't been able to do in the past. And we're also going to have to and get to, I don't say have to, but get to throw 3 pitchers in a game to maybe mix it up so that the hitters aren't seeing the same face over and over again. But yeah, it's still ongoing as far as who's going to get to start every day.
You look at the OVC race when it begins, 3 teams got first place votes. Southeast Missouri ended up being the preseason favorite, EKU second, Jacksonville State 3. So there's a lot of quality at the top of the conference here.
Sure. And Southeast Missouri was picked 1 for a reason. They won it 2 years ago, and then they had everybody return from that team. And then a lot of those players came back for their COVID year. So, yeah, they should be picked first. And then Jacksonville State, of course, is always very good. And then for us, we don't care where we're picked. We just we care where we are at the end of the season.
Off to Charleston, South Carolina, try to get away from the really bad weather here. Already scheduled 2 games against College of Charleston Saturday, and then 2 on Sunday against Charleston Southern. So this will be a good 4-game, 2-day test for your softball team.
Yeah, and same thing. It's not looking like we're going to get any outside time before we go. We're just hoping that the weather's good enough that we can pull the bus out of the parking lot. And if we can get on the road and get to Charleston, it's the same thing. We need that experience because, one, we are starting some freshmen, and two, there's just nothing better than having game time. And our conference starts a little bit earlier this year. So all of those games are going to be so valuable.
Nice segue into my next question, and that is your first home game is the weekend series against SIU Edwardsville. I believe it's March 6th and 7th. So into the fire of league play very quick.
Yeah, and that's the difference. We're only going to be facing if we get all of our games in, I think it's like 5 different opponents. That's a lot different than normal. And last year, we had 24 games in, and we hadn't played a conference game yet. This year we'll have maybe 10. It doesn't give us a lot of time to get ready and to figure out who's going to do well. But then everybody's in the same boat. So it's just get out there and play ball games and let our competitiveness and last year's experience take over, and I'll turn them loose. I think we're going to be okay.
I can't wait to see you and the team out at Gertrude Hood Field in early March. Good luck down in Charleston for the rest of the season, Coach.
Well, thank you.
All right, that's Jane Worthington, the softball coach. We'll stay on the diamond and catch up with the new baseball coach at EKU next when Inside EKU Sports continues. There may be a lot of ice and snow on the ground in Richmond, but the EKU baseball team getting ready to get things started down in Atlanta against Georgia Tech for this season. And Chris Prothro, the new baseball coach at Eastern Kentucky, joins us now on the show. Chris, you've been through a lot as a program with the pandemic and the weather, but I know you're excited to get on the diamond now.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking out the window right now. The field covered in snow, and it's obviously pretty cold outside, and it's not been ideal the last week or so as far as trying to get ready, but we're as ready as we can be, and our guys are definitely excited to get on the bus on Thursday and head down to Atlanta.
The team is a mixture of returners and a lot of new guys. How have they molded together here preseason as you get ready?
Yeah, it's been interesting. So, I think you and I may have spoken about it, but I know I've talked with like KB and some other people. Is a lot of people across college baseball have talked about how old their rosters are, how much experience they have, how many returners they have. And we do have some of that. We also have 43 players on our team, 22 of them are freshmen. So it's been interesting to see, some of these guys going through preparations for a season for the first time, and then them really being able to lean on some older guys who have been through it. So our returners, especially from pitching staff side of things, we have a bunch of guys that have experience and stripes in this program, have done a wonderful job of helping our guys get ready.
What you don't have returning is your entire outfield of starters, your third baseman, your DH, and your catcher. But on the right side of your infield, you have veterans. So it's a mixture there as well.
Sure, yeah. And I'm kind of, been consistent in saying this, that there's an ability. We have a good level of ability from a position player standpoint, but the depth is not quite there. And really, when I say depth, I'm not saying we have good frontline guys and then the guys that are backing them up are not talented. I'm saying from a sheer numbers standpoint, there's not a lot of depth. So we need some good fortune from an injury standpoint and health standpoint. And thank goodness we're in good hands with Anthony Parise and the rest of the sports medicine staff here at EKU that we'll do the best we can with that. But we have some talented guys. We need to keep them healthy. And then there are some returners like Danny and Charlie and some other guys that, have earned stripes in this program and have had success. So we'll see how it goes. We got some new guys that don't need to be new guys for very long, I guess is the best way to say it.
Second baseman Daniel Harris IV is getting a lot of preseason Hub, what have you seen out of him? Because I know you weren't his coach the last couple of years, but you've seen him getting ready, and you've seen tape, obviously. So what does he bring to your ball club?
He's very talented, and rightfully so, with some of the publication and the social media, people saying great things about him. He's gotten a couple of preseason awards, and that's great. He's very, very talented on both sides of the ball. He's an above-average defender at second. I said this on the OVC preview the other day. There's a lot of teams in the country that he could play shortstop for defensively, including this one. But he fits in our program and puts our program in the best position to be successful at second base, and he's great with that. And we'll have a chance to be an impactful defender, one of the better second basemen, if not in the country, for sure in our conference. And then offensively, his numbers last year when they played really speak for themselves. I think he hit 460 or something over the 14 games or so that they played against a pretty good schedule, and he'll be in the middle of our order and has a chance to be a very productive hitter in our conference.
So you come from South Alabama, where you were an assistant. So you leave the Sun Belt, you come to EKU. It's in the OVC now for 1 year. It goes to the A-Sun, and you open up in the ACC, Coach. 4 games, 3 at Georgia Tech, 1 at U of L, if we can play them all before you come back home finally for a game. So it's going to be a challenge right out of the gate.
Absolutely, and that's what our guys want. And we were laughing, I know you and I were, before we came on here. It was a great parting gift from Coach Thompson as far as the first 4 games of our season. I think Georgia Tech's ranked 15th in the country, and Louisville, you can find a poll where they're ranked number 1. I'm certain of it. And so, it'll be a challenge, and it's on the road, and our guys are excited about kind of seeing where they stack up with some of the best competition in the country, and that will get us ready for what is going to be a tough OVC slate, and ultimately get our program ready for our move into a different conference in the future that's going to be tough as well. So that's something that we'll do moving forward, is we'll always have a tough non-conference schedule. It gets our guys ready for conference play, number 1. And then what we're trying to do as a program is we're trying to get into the postseason. And the postseason is not the conference tournament. The postseason is the NCAA tournament, where 64 teams get to go to have a chance to keep playing and make a run at the College World Series. So that's what we want to do. You have to have a tough schedule to do it, and you got to win games in that tough schedule. So they better be prepared. Our players better be, and they will be.
Finally, your first OVC game is March 12th. Between now and then, do you put a lot of pitch counts on your staff, try to figure out what your rotation will be once we get into weekend series, and for lack of a better term, play around with your lineup and positions to figure out your baseball team once you head to conference play?
Sure. So we have, I think it's 10 or 11 non-conference games heading in before we go over to Morehead State and open up conference play. And I got it right here in front of me on March 12th. So certainly, we number 1, for health and safety purposes, guys will be on pitch counts this weekend because it's early in the season and they need to be protected right now for health and safety reasons. And then we need those guys that are in our rotation to be effective in April and May. So we've got to monitor their pitch counts. We've got to monitor the wear and tear of our relievers, make sure we're moving guys around to see what roles they are most successful in, to put them in the best position to be successful. And it's the same thing with our lineup and guys on the field, that we've got to figure out when someone's wearing a different uniform, what our best defensive lineup looks like, what our best offensive lineup looks like, who our best finishers are on the pitching staff, who handles the pressure best in the middle of the games. And then obviously the rotation will be critical heading into OVC play.
Okay, thanks, Coach. See you soon out at Cone Stadium, too.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Chris Prothro, the head coach of the baseball team. Here's what's ahead for the Colonels. 3 games in Atlanta on Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the 15th ranked team in the country. And then U of L on Tuesday over in Louisville, February 23rd. First home game is a weekend set against Presbyterian College. And that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. You can like and follow Colonel Athletics by going to all of these social media pages. Until next time, as always, go Big E.